On Friday the 13th of September 2024, my life changed forever. I can't really say if it was for good or for bad, but actually it was very bad. Actually, I could just say that, I guess. Looking for literally anything to do to fill time, I asked my live chat, what should we be doing right now, you know? We can play a game, you know, maybe sing some songs, but sadly, we landed on this. I was linked to one of the weirdest things I've ever read, Legolas by Laura, a fan fiction written by presumably Laura, whoever the hell that is. What follows now is my first ever reading of Legolas by Laura. Also, me losing my innocence. But those are completely unrelated, surely. Wildly enough, I suppose I should probably also give some trigger warnings. There's some really touchy subjects that are, you know, broached in this. Weird. I do my best within editing and also the live reading to dodge these subjects, but, you know, it's pretty on the nose still, so you've been warned. Anyway, without further ado, please enjoy an overly dramatic reading of Legolas by Laura. Legolas by Laura! Yaka, you kind of know the vibe of this, right? Give me some mood music. Epic adventure? Okay. You know what? Gotcha. Give me a number between 1 and 20. 7. Okay. 5, 6, 7. You've picked Hero Down. This is our mood music. This is what you've picked. Legolas was riding along the woods, and one day he found a baby whacked in cold. Whacked in cold! So he got off his horse and went to the baby. And then Legolas said, without a space, by the way, he just went right into it and he said, "Who left you here, little one?" And then the baby just cried, and then Legolas picked her up and hold her, and then the baby stopped with one P crying. And then Legolas said, "Your name is going to be Laura." And then Legolas and the baby went onto the horse. Certainly Legolas held the baby on the horse, right? Because the baby probably too young to wrap its little baby legs around the girth of the horse. The back of the horse. Gotta be stated, the back of the horse, not the girth. And then the baby went onto the horse and went back to the castle, where he said, "Father, Mother, I found this little baby in the woods." And then Legolas, this is still all the things that he's saying. "Father and Mother, I found this little baby in the woods." And then Legolas' mother got up and walked down and said, that's everything Legolas said, by the way. There was no end to that quotation. Legolas' mother got up and walked down and said, "How can people put baby in the woods and die? To die. Then Legolas' father said, "We are going to keep her." And then Legolas was happy. For some rising. 10 years later, Legolas got up and went into Laura's room and said, "Good morning." And then Laura said, "Good morning too." Because that's how humans respond to that. They say, "Good morning too." Clearly they must be docking their ship off and they're mooring it up. Then Legolas said, "What's the matter?" And then Laura said, "Legolas, I want to know how to ride a horse." Then Legolas said, "Okay." And then Legolas said, "First you get dresses and have something to eat, and then we will go for a horse ride lesson." Meanwhile, 2 words, meanwhile, Strider and Gandalf was riding towards where Legolas lived. And then Strider said, "Gandalf, I do not know Legolas had a sister." And then Gandalf also said, "I did not know as well." Meanwhile, at Mondor, the Dark Lord was planning, with one N by the way, to kidnap the princess, but not the boss of the orcs came and said, "I'll get her for you, sir." And then the Dark Lord said, "Yes, you can!" Dark Lord's always been a bit of a yes man. Meanwhile, Legolas and Laura was horse riding. And then Laura said, "Legolas, who's that?" And then Legolas looked, and it was Gandalf, the son of a bitch, and said, "That is Gandalf Enstridier." I guess he's French now. And then Strider said, "Legolas." And then Legolas said, "Strider, long time no see." And then Strider says, "How's you?" And then Legolas said, "I am fine." And then Gandalf said, "Who's this then?" And then Legolas said, Meet Laura. I found her in the woods when she was just a baby. Laura was shy at first, and then Legolas said, Laura, come and meet Strider and Gandalf. And then Laura said, hello, I am Laura. Legolas said, she is the princess. And then Strider said, she is so cute. And then Legolas said, that will be my Falute. And then Gandalf said, why? And then Laura said, this is like tonal whiplash for the music. He protects me. That's why. And then Legolas looked up and said, I think we go back to the castle. We should go back. And then Laura said, I can feel it too. Legolas said, do what you want to stay for a night. And then Gandalf and Strider said, simultaneously, I guess, in unison, yes, please. And then they had tea and went to the night. I did read that right. Then they had tea and went to the night. Legolas asked the guards to keep an eye on Laura while the orcs climbed up the window and grabbed Laura. And then Laura woke up and screamed, and the guard went into her room and saw lots of orcs. And then Legolas ran down. Legolas said, where is Laura? And then the guard said, the orcs took her. Meanwhile, the orcs was back at Mondor, and then Laura said, put me down! And then the orcs did, and then the Dark Lord came out of the fire and said, welcome, Laura. And then Laura looked at him and said, no, it can't be. And then she tried to run away, but the orcs got the Dark Lord, said, put her into the cell and bet her, and also do whatever you want with her, but do not kill her. Then the orcs took her to the cell and threw her into the cell, and then they shut the go up and went to the window and looked out, and she was wishing that Legolas or someone will save, while back at the Castle of Milkwood, Legolas was getting the army ready to go and save, while Laura was sitting on the floor, and then the door opened, and there was some orcs, and the orcs tied Laura with some chains, and then one of the orcs striped her, and then he... Hey, yo, Sonic, the hell? You're still not up? Jay, thank you for the gift of 10 subs! You also came in clutch right as big yikes happened in the story. Why couldn't this word be misspelled? Fuck it, I'm gonna misspell it anyway in my own head to make it a better headcanon. Then he rapped with her. And then Laura said, go away, you bastard! Then another orc came with a whip and whipped her hard, and then the orcs all together bet her almost to death. And then the Dark Lord came in with a tube of potion, and then he injected into Laura. Few hours later, Legolas and the others was on the way to Mondor to save Princess, while in the cell where Laura was been kept. Laura woke up, and she looked on her body. There was blood and scars. She only could move her right arm, but not her Laura. Not her Laura! Said, I feel so cold. And then she can't see very. The front gates of Mondor was Legolas and the others. And then they said, let Laura go! And then the Dark Lord said, no! And then Legolas said, right, listen. Will climb up to the cell and get Laura, and you and the others will find another way, Strider said. All right. And then Legolas started to climb while Strider and the others ran into Mondor and went into the said, will go and kill the Dark Lord, and you and the others go and help Legolas. Stridier said, be careful. And then Gandalf said, I will. Don't you worry about me. Meanwhile, Legolas got to the cell where Laura said, Laura, are you still in there? I added the word still, and then Laura said, oh, Legolas, you finally came. And then Legolas said, are you all right? And then Laura said, no, I am not all right. And then Legolas said, they bet you up and rapped with you, and the Dark Lord gave you the Poseidon. And then Laura said, how did you know that? And then Legolas said, when I was your age, they did the same thing to me. Then Laura said, Can you get me out of here? And then Legolas said, okay, stand back. And then he ran toward the door and knocked it down. Laura said, wow. And then Legolas looked and saw she was covered in blood and scars. She was naked. And then Legolas said, why? They did it to you, not me! And then the orcs came and said, because she got a power, she could destroy us all, the bad guys. Then the fright began. Dude, the fright began a long time ago, right around the time she started rapping. I'm gonna be honest, I've been frightened since. Legolas got out his bow and arrows and started firing at Legolas. God, I hope I don't miss. Oh God, what am I doing? Shoots himself, I guess. Legolas got out his bow and arrows and started firing at Legolas, saw some swords and said, Strider, is that you? And then Strider said, yes, it is. And then Legolas and the others started to kill the wild Gandalf. Is what a fun time trying to story. The dog said, I wish Frodo and Merry and Pippin and Sam was here. And then a sword came out of nowhere and said, the sword said, some wished us here. And then Gandalf turned and said, Frodo Baggins, why you doing here? And then Frodo said, we came to help you, and also we got rid of the ring. And then the Dark Lord said, oh no. And then the magical powers from Gandalf destroyed the Dark Lord. Meanwhile, Legolas and Strider and the others was helping Laura down, and Strider took off his cape and put it around Laura. Few hours later, Legolas and the others are on the way back to the Sed. We must go to Rivendell to get Laura better. Then Gandalf said, I think you are right. And then they turned around and went to look down on Laura and put his hand on Laura's head, and she was pruning what inside of Legolas' horse and looked and said, she is getting worse. And then Legolas said, I know! A few hours later, they were at Rivendell, and Legolas stayed at Laura's side every day until she wakes up, and then Legolas kissed Laura on her lips. Thought it was more of like a father-daughter relation. Fuck it. He kissed her on her lips, and then she moved her arms around, and around Legolas, and then Legolas said, are you all right? And then Laura said, yes, I am. Legolas said, I am so happy. And then Laura said, do you want to be my boyfriend? And then Legolas said, yes, I will be your boyfriend. And then Laura and Legolas kissed, said, what happened to me, Legolas? And then Legolas said, you got kidnapped by the orcs, and they rapped with you, and also bet you almost death. And then the Dark Lord gave you some Poseidon. And then Laura said, why I can only move one arm. And then Legolas said, your left arm is broken. Then the door opened, and it was Strider, and then Laura said, hello, Strider. And then Strider said, I see you are awake. And then Laura. You're really gonna hit us with that fucking cliffhanger? And then Laura, what? Yes, that was actually the ending, so here's an alternate one that we wrote. Thank fuck. Then the door opened, and it was Strider, and then Laura said, hello, Strider, and then Strider said, I see you are awake. Then Laura pulled out a gun with only arm she could and shot everyone except Gandalf, who then laser beamed her in the head with magic. Everyone died except Gandalf, who lived on in the castle of Milkwood. Moral of the story, incest is wrong, but Gandalf is awesome. Thank you, Gandalf. We fucking love you. Gandalf says no to incest, okay? You wanna fuck your brother or your sister? Let this be a warning. Gandalf will come, and Gandalf will not let you come, okay? That's that! What a beautiful fucking story. If I could rate it out of 10, I literally can't. We need a bigger scale. I know that 10 is literally the top of a scale, and it's just a point of reference, but you literally cannot rate this on a scale of 10. 100? 1,000? Maybe. Why is a whole orchestra happening? I don't know. This was an 8-minute song. Guys, what the fuck did I just read?